This has been a busy year. I fitted out a new shop space, I got some new tools, and I worked on a ton of new designs. I am really looking forward to showing you all of them, but today we're going to take a look at one. I'm calling it the Model G. It's an air filter. This is my take on the standard single filter on box fan design that has been around for decades. It works with 20 by 20 inch disposable or washable HVAC filters that are between 1 and 5 inches thick. It comes with a foam seal for improved performance. Vibration dampening feet help reduce noise. These come in a 2-inch and 4-inch size for large and small 20-inch box fans. Filter installation is really simple and takes a minute or less. And best of all, there is no need for tape. There are 2 options for the foam seal, premium and economy. The kit comes with everything you need except a fan and a filter. I tried to make this as simple as possible. All you're going to need is a scissors. All of the plastic parts have premium 3M double-sided tape pre-installed. Just peel off the backing and find a good place for the foot. Out here is not ideal due to the curve of the fan housing, so we'll install it just inside the fan legs. Press down hard on the foot. Be sure the part is in the right place before you touch it to the surface. The tape is very aggressive, hard to remove, and after a few days it is permanent. The feet should point towards the back of the fan. Based on my testing, placing the filter on the front of the fan will slightly reduce performance and allow the fan blades to become more dirty over time. Now center 1 hook on each side, about 1/2 inch back from the edge. Stick 2 hooks on either side of the handle. After testing this design for 6 months, the lowest cost foam seals fell apart on me. That's why for large fans like this Air King, I have a premium foam option. This is a 3M brand product. I highly recommend 3M filters as well. They perform best out of any brand that I've tested. The economy foam is thinner and suitable for virtually all standard 20-inch box fans other than the Air King. I've used this foam for hundreds of applications and found it to be of good quality. I like to apply the foam starting at the bottom and tack it down a few inches at a time. Sometimes the backing can get stuck to this foam, so it's best to proceed slowly. Cut the foam with about 1/8 of an inch overlap, pull one side back, and then stick the other down. For the premium foam on the Air King, you will want to hang most of it over the edge. Only about 1/4 inch of the width of the foam needs to be stuck to the fan. This will take up the extra space between the edge of the fan and the filter. Please forgive me for the dirty fan here. This has been my prototype unit for a year and it has been through a lot. It's seen some things. Trimming it is just like the economy foam. Cut the end of the strip about 1/8 of an inch too long. Now we can put the filter on. You will want to look for the arrow on the filter. This should point forward in the direction of airflow. Starting with the bottom, loop the cord through the feet. Overlap the corners of the filter and then loop the cord through the side hooks. Now bring one side of the cord through the top and join it with the opposite end. I like to keep one side about 16 inches shorter than the other so that the 2 ends are the same length after the cord clamp is installed. The corner of the filter is the best location to fully tighten the cord. Everything installs in a few minutes. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. For filter changes, just loosen the cord and remove the old filter.
Washable filters like this K&N filter last forever, but do not perform quite as well as the disposables. I find 2-inch thick filters are the best option in general when buying budget filters. However, none of those outperform 1-inch and 4-inch thick 3M brand filters. The Lennox MERV 16 filter in the background here is the best filter I have tested with this kit. If you are running a standard size box fan, the 2-inch feet will work great. For the Air King and 4 or 5-inch thick filters, the 4-inch feet are the best. The feet are removable and can easily slide off and on again. These work in exactly the same way as the 2-inch feet.
Calling this the Model G because in most cases it's good enough. If you want to filter the air in your home, this is going to be perfect. If you want a little bit more power, you can go with the Air King. I definitely recommend the 4-inch feet with this and the premium foam, because otherwise you're going to have a hard time perfectly sealing around the filter itself. So either one of these is going to be great in most conditions in the home. I also use this particular one doing certain around the shop activities. I can show you a couple of those things here in a second. You're not always going to need something quite as beefy as this Model B over here. That has a whole different use case. But around the house, the Model G is good enough.
But the question is, how good is it? As I mentioned a moment ago, this MERV 16 Plus Carbon from Lennox is the best HVAC filter I've ever tested. But it is a $100 filter. So how do it and other filters stack up against your standard HEPA filters? To find out which performs best, I burn 3 sticks of incense for a set amount of time while running a fan in the background. Then I put out the incense and run the fan for another 5 minutes until an even mixture of smoke is achieved. Then I run the filter to determine how well a given fan or filter performs. My testing space is about 550 square feet. My goal with each test is to remove 90% of the smoke from the air. Sometimes the filters just don't perform very well, and I stop the test early. As is, I've done over 300 hours of smoke tests, and if I let the worst performers run all day, then I could easily have spent 1,000 hours, and I just don't have that kind of time. Looking first at the 3 HEPA filters that I tested, there is the Levoit Core 300 that retails for $100, the Honeywell HPA 200 that is about $200, then the Blue Air 211 Auto that retails for about $300. All of the filters were running at their highest speeds. As the price goes up, so does the clean air delivery rate and its relative performance in this test. The Model G kit, a fan, and a filter combined will cost you as little as $80. All the filters I tested outperform the Levoit Core 300 and most outperform the Honeywell HPA 200. I only worked with MERV 11 HVAC filters and higher for this test. Filters that are less than MERV 11 will not effectively filter smoke. With a single filter design, the thicker the filter, the better the performance. However, all brands are not equal. The one I cannot stop recommending is 3M Filtrete. You can see that in a 4-inch MERV 14 from FilterBuy that actually performs worse than the 4-inch 3M MERV 11. The only filter to do better than the $300 HEPA filter was the 5-inch thick Lennox Carbon Clean. This is not a cheap filter, but one will probably last you a year or more depending on how you use it. If you buy the Model G kit, an Air King fan, and the Carbon Clean filter, it would run you about $200. That's still less than the $300 HEPA filter. If you instead opted for a 4-inch 3M MERV 11, that will drop the price to $130, while only slightly underperforming the Blue Air 211 that comes in at twice the price. Now for a more straightforward chart using this data, I can run the numbers through a CADR calculator. The CADR, or clean air delivery rate, of the HEPA filters does not match the listed CADR for any of these devices. If you professionally test one of these, it isn't in a crowded house with furniture, walls, and doorways. You can pause the video here if you like. I have talked a lot about results already. Here is another chart which shows you the cost of operating the filter. The thin green bar shows how much smoke the filter is capable of removing in 1 month's time. The thick blue bar shows the cost of removing 10 sticks of incense smoke from the air. The chart is organized from least expensive to most expensive. If the green bar is quite tall and the blue bar is short, this indicates the most effective filter options.
The Model G is great, but if you want even more filtration power, there's the Model C and Model B. I'll have a new video coming out next month that will include loads of new testing data and even more.
A brief note about sound. Box fans are not exactly quiet. Some are more quiet than others. The Air King is more powerful, but it is definitely loud compared to the standard Lasko fan and other fans like it. You may not like being around an Air King fan while it is running at its highest speed or sleeping in a room with it at its lowest speed. I feel like most other box fans on low are not unpleasant to be around, but they are not whisper quiet. People familiar with them may think of their sound as white noise. All of the HEPA filters are also quite loud on their highest speeds. When I run one of these in a bedroom, they are generally set to their lowest settings. Do keep in mind that on their lowest setting, they filter a very, very small amount of air. If the clean air delivery rate for a Blue Air 2-on-1 is 340 CFM on high, then on low it might be 10% of that. A box fan filter may only lose about 50% of their CADR on their lowest speeds. Outside of in-home use, I put this Model G to work while doing some renovations this year. I will get into detail on this subject in an upcoming video, but the short of it is that this design has a lot of uses in construction and around the shop. That said, I don't think that this is a good option for high-dust locations like a wood shop. Designs that have at least 4 filters are far more effective. Also, if you are trying to filter a smaller room rather than a larger open space, the Model G will work nicely. If you do have a large open room and want more filtration performance, the Model C or Model B will work even better.
I have a lot of air filters lying around, and I don't really need the one that I made for this video. So if you want to be one of the first 200 people to place a comment below, I will send you this unit for free.
If you want to buy one of the Model G kits, check out the link in the description. If you want to go the cheapest route, you can tape one of these together. That works too. I recommend gaffer's tape. It doesn't leave as much of a sticky residue on the fan at filter change time. These HEPA filters are all great filters. Although many of them are outcompeted by a single filter on a box fan, it doesn't mean that these are bad filters. They are actually quite good and generally more attractive than this rather rudimentary design. If you want to buy one of them, you can use the links in the description to help out the channel.
I plan on having a lot more videos out early next year. Some will be about air filtration, but others will not be. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Stay safe. Stay classy.